Hi everyone, it's great to see you. This morning I spent the morning at the Farmer's Daughter in southern Rhode Island making a beautiful succulent arrangement in a pumpkin, and boy, it was so much fun. So I'm going to share that with you.
The Farmer's Daughter is a rather large garden center in South Kingston, Rhode Island. This is only the second time that I've been there, and each time I've been really impressed by the variety of flowers that they have and the yard and garden art that they have. This was one of their fall festival days. There were tons of pumpkins and activities and families out taking pictures. I made sure that I stopped at the farm stand there right away and got an apple cider donut to snack on while I walked around before the class looking at all these beautiful kale and cabbages and anything that you wanted to add to your fall landscape they had, and it was a lot of fun. They also have a lot of gift shops. These are actually some miniature versions of the succulent pumpkins that I was going to create here, and they were selling them in one of the gift shops, and they were just so adorable. I had to take pictures. They had a huge selection of amaryllis bulbs and just bulbs in general. While I looked at the amaryllis bulbs, I continued snacking on my delicious donut here. So it was a very nice morning, I have to say. And they had some amazing heirloom pumpkins too. A lot of them clustered by their colors, and just the tones were peaceful. This is just a beautiful greenhouse with a lot of cyclamen in it, orchids, African violets. It was really tempting to get many, many things here. Fortunately, the class was starting in just a few minutes after this, so I didn't have a ton of time, or I would have been loading up the car with all sorts of really good finds. But take a look at these pumpkins. The white, the green, it just was gorgeous. They had a really nice selection of wintergreen. I had just added some wintergreen to some of my outdoor planters, and I planned to go back and get more, but I forgot before I left, so I might have to make another trip. There were a lot of places that were perfect to catch a photograph with and to browse through. This time of year, they were doing a sale on their Halloween pieces here, and they had a lot of really nice gifts. So if you're looking for a good hostess gift or something fallish to give a loved one, they had a really good selection of unique gifts. These little pumpkins were so cute with their little curly stems. I loved that. Here's another photo op here. This was the Mooresfield Coven's Historical Witches House. And take a look at this with more of the beautiful purple. It just was a really happy sunny day to be there. Now, tucked behind some of these greenhouses is where they have their classroom. It's a beautiful new building, and when I went in, they had all of these gorgeous pumpkins that you were going to choose from, followed by, you could see, a tray of succulents. Here's their examples of the pumpkins with the succulents on top. This is what the class was. So the first thing we had to do was to choose out our heirloom pumpkin, and I ended up choosing this one. I really liked the green color. I don't do that much orange, and these last like 3 months. So I wasn't sure I wanted to lock myself into orange, as it's only 1 month till Thanksgiving now. And I thought, okay, well, with the green, I could even leave that out further. And I chose one with kind of a flat top to it. The next thing we did is we went over to all these wonderful goodies, and we filled a metal tray with the things that we thought we would include on our pumpkin. So these included some seeds, some dried flowers, acorns, pine cones, and the really important pieces, of course, were all of the beautiful succulents. A lot of sedum. This is reindeer moss here, but oh, take a look at these. And the colors were fabulous. So this is where it's really worth taking a class like this to get such a variety of succulents. And they just had the color variations, the shape. It was beautiful. This here was jelly bean succulent. Loved that. I see some lemon coral sedum here. Really, really pretty. The shapes were different. And with the green pumpkin, as I went through, I tried to choose things that I thought would stand out well against that green pumpkin. So I did some green things, but I tried to choose those things that also had some of that beautiful rose, pink, purple color too. So once I went down and collected that beautiful selection, we took some sheet moss, and using an adhesive spray, we took that moss and attached it to the top of the pumpkin. They described it like putting the toupee on the pumpkin, which was really cute. Here's some of the things I collected. And then we were told, start from the inside, use your hot glue gun, and you're just going to create a little bit of a glue ring around the bottom leaves and stick those on. So I started from the center and started building out, really pressing these little succulents up against each other, and then using the ridges of the pumpkin to guide me as I put trailing pieces down the side too. And I tried to use a pretty wide variety of different succulents on here. I figured this might be one of the few times that I get to choose from so many choices, and I really wanted to incorporate as many different things as I could. Now, while we were doing this, the women running it, the owner of the Farmer's Daughter, was just wonderful. Walked around really with such a positive feeling, really making us feel good about making these beautiful constructed pieces of foliage and centerpieces, and telling us about the plants too. So this will last the way it is for quite some time, but when I'm ready, I can also decide to propagate these succulents. And to do that, just taking one little piece of a petal of that succulent, is it a petal, a leaf? Part of the succulent, and putting it in some dirt and letting it root for a couple months. So I think that this winter I will do that, and who knows, maybe I will be able to propagate these succulents really well. Succulents are not something that I've worked with a lot, so I felt like I learned a lot while I was there, and it was just a really great experience.
Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.